What is going on? You are listening to Tags Podcast, aka Talk About Gay Sex Podcast. This is episode 678. I am your host, Stevie B, alongside Cody Maurice Doggett. How the hell you doing, Cody?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful. So lovely to hear your voice today.
Absolutely. And we're so happy to have the ever so talented and lovely himself, Teddy Alexis. How you doing, Teddy?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We are really good. And as we record this, it is June 30th, the day after Pride here in New York City, as well as San Francisco. And boy, oh boy, Cody, did we have a fun day of celebration.
Oh, we did. We got into some trouble. We celebrated being, our authentic selves more than anything else.
Yeah, we really did. I mean, we had a nice little brunch with Diego and you and another friend of ours. And then we made our way over to the parade to show. Believe it or not, Diego, after so many years here in New York, has not been to the parade ever.
I know.
He's just always working.
I was shocked. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was special in that way, but also then special because we went together as a couple and we had ordered these trans flags because we really wanted to represent and show the transgender support. And we didn't stay for hours, but a good 90 minutes, I think. And we got our fix in. So then afterwards, we made our way over to a really kind of chill spot where you worked, dear Irving, for some nice cocktails, went to a gay bar afterwards, and ultimately headed to the Eagle, of course, because all things always have to end at the Eagle, which was a lot of fun there. But yeah, really good Pride celebration. Exactly. I'm curious, did you celebrate Pride in West Hollywood, Teddy?
Not in West Hollywood, but I did celebrate Pride. I was doing a staged reading for a LGBT play in something called Art of Acting, which is the Stella Adler school here.
Yeah, famous.
Very famous. So yeah, I was doing that day. Last year I got to host a bunch of people because the parade is literally down the street from me because they moved it now to Hollywood Boulevard.
Oh.
But this year I didn't get to see it. However, if you don't mind me telling this story, I was in Ciudad de Mexico last weekend.
Oh my God, Mexico
not for
City.
Pride. I was actually filming, but they were getting ready for Pride, so we went to the Zona Rosa, which is basically like the WeHo equivalent of Ciudad de Mexico.
Yes.
Okay. So we were just like. Everybody was like getting ready for Pride, so we were just out and about. And it's always nice to pay for pesos for beers because they're so cheap. So it was a really, really, really nice weekend.
Yeah, we were just talking about the Zocalo and how they did one of the largest Pride flags in history, really, the human people Pride flag. And they did it not just for the city of Ciudad de Mexico or Mexico in general, but they also did it as a show of international support and really talking about how important it is with all that's going on in the world. And I thought, yeah, Mexico City is always on the forefront on a lot of ways, and I just love it so much. But yes, you can get your drinks a lot cheaper than you can here in the States. Yeah.
And so I'm putting it on the universe that I'm very open to move to Mexico now. So
really,
if any university needs a professor, let me know because I just really enjoyed the culture. Not only the LGBT, but just Mexican culture in general was something that it was just really healing to me to participate in that.
I can actually envision you there, especially in Mexico City. But yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, yes, put that out in the universe for sure.
Hey.
We will help manifest it here. There's been a lot of articles on Pride Month, and as Pride Month ends, because it's June 30th, there's a good article by The Advocate that remember that Pride is about truth. It's an opinion piece on journalism, especially trans-led, justice-centered journalism, is not just important right now, it's essential. Their stories really matter. Their voices are weapons, and telling the truth is how we fight back. writes Amara Jones. And I think it's really good. That's one of the reasons why I really wanted to go to Pride this particular year. I haven't gone in several years, but I always think it's good to show up when times are not on our side. There was a huge LGBTQ plus trans march in San Francisco that happened the Friday before Pride on Sunday. And I just think, and a lot of it was trans youth that showed up as well. And so when you hear stories about erasing trans and then how important it is, what's your thoughts on this, Teddy?
Well, it's really part of our history, the erasure of trans people, right? Because
Yeah,
I like to always tell this story, and we go from Stonewall in 1969 to the first Pride in 1970, and the first thing that the cisgender male people did was to ban trans people from participating from those activities. So the names that you hear a lot, Marsha, Sylvia's of their time,
yeah,
they were banned and they didn't get to participate in Pride fully until like 5 years later. So those are
right.
things that
Wow.
are ingrained into our history, and we really have to fight hard. It's very hard to get rid of the T when that is literally what the first thing that we did as a community. So if we're looking at it through the United States lens, so when we see programming that it's trying to fight that, which really have to support it and really be conscious of that the things that are happening for a reason. And sometimes the call is coming from the house,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we have to fight that.
Absolutely. It's such a important time, Cody. And over on that vein, outside of the US, over 100,000 people turned out for Budapest Pride, basically in defiance of homophobic Prime Minister Viktor Orban. And they really did this, I think, to show that we do exist. And I
Mhm.
love that. Also, I was surprised. I was in Cherry Grove. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second for their underwear party powered by Vakaya. Tell you a little bit more of how that went down in a second. But I was surprised. I was looking at the flags. They had the American flag, the Pride flag in Cherry Grove, and then they had a tattered up, the more inclusive Pride flag that has the transgender, like we do, like we changed ours
Yeah.
Mhm.
for Tag's podcast. And it was kind of tattered up. And I was just making a note. Well, somebody that goes there all the time mentioned to me, it was a big deal to even get that flag up.
Oh,
And can you
wow.
imagine, even here in the States, in Cherry Grove of all places,
Mhm.
that there would be some sort of resistance? I mean, ultimately it made its way up, but still, why would there be resistance even within our own community?
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't for me, coming up as a young gay man, I feel like I was always exposed to transgender people, lesbians. I feel like the thought of being so divisive and like making sure, oh, I only know gay men. This is my sect of the LGBTQ plus community. That just seems counterproductive to me because at the end of the day, we're all stronger together. So I don't get it. I think that people all need to take a, a check, a mental check of themselves in order to figure out what is making them want to think that they're better than anybody else in the community. I think that's kind of what it boils down to. They think that they are other people are lesser than them in the community, and I've just never thought that way. So people need to get a reality check out there. They're going to come for all of us eventually.
Exactly. It's like when you do your history, like Teddy was saying, the original Pride marches really were led in many ways by some of the names he mentioned, Marcia, Sylvia, that were of the transgender, were transgender. And it's like to not want to kind of stop the buck at just gay people is within our own community. It just is so backwards. And really, at the end of the day, it's not even old fashioned. It's just not knowing your history. And
Hmm.
so that's really what is so infuriating and frustrating. And I don't get it. But, anyways, it's up. So, tattered or not,
We
I,
can get them a new one.
yeah, I felt like it. I was like, can't we afford a new flag on
Mhm.
Cherry Grove?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's time for a new one. To throw out those old shoes. I mentioned I was there, and the infamous underwear party that is produced by Daniel Nardicchio on Cherry Grove is so much fun. I forgot how much fun it is. And like I said, the dark room is powered all summer season long by Vakaya. I was there with some of the Vakaya team, and we were handing out, which was so clever, little, they looked like you hook it to your jock strap, and it's basically a little tube. A lot of people thought they were hand sanitizers, but they're really filled with lube, which
Oh.
was so clever, right? And
Teddy, are you shocked? Are you clutching your pearls, girl?
No,
What's
I
going on
actually
over
thought it was
there?
gonna be poppers, but
oh
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah.
That's a
Well,
good idea.
something a little bit more. Well, both can be useful, but yeah, since poppers are a little bit more controversial these days, lube
yeah.
is very welcome. It was silicone lube too, which is always recommended by the good doctor on our show, Dr. Goldstein. But as you all know, silicone can be a little slippery, and I was in that dark room cruising around there a little bit, and in one corner, I was calling it my corner because I seemed to gravitate to this one corner all night, but I was slipping and sliding as the night went on. And my friend joked, he's like, that wasn't from the bottle, that was from that boy's ass that was shooting it out.
Ooh. Oh my god.
I
Girl.
know, it was funny, but I have to say it's such a fun night because it's one of those parties where the music's really good. They start off with disco, and then they get into all the hits, and everybody's dancing along. There's great visuals on the screens. The bar's open. People are talking. You can go inside and out. And then when you want to, you can go into we call it purgatory, where they have a masseur giving free massages, and then if you want, you can make your way into the dark room, and then kind of rinse and repeat, which is so much fun. I just love it. I highly recommend it to make your way over to Cherry Grove if you can this summer, because it's a whole lot of fun. Cody, I think it's has your name right all over it.
Oh, me? Is my name already on the bathroom wall again? Oh my gosh. Can you imagine?
Exactly. Well, let's move into a little bit of travel because a lot of people love to travel in the summertime. And there was a great article that I was by Gay Cities. And I actually did a whole interview with one of the people over at Gay Cities recently about travel and having fun and how to have a sex progressive vacation. Well, this article said how to talk to your partner into an open vacation relationship and how it
Oh.
can be a little bit
Oh,
dicey. They gave some tips, which I'll read in a minute. But the reason I also wanted to talk about it was when I was working with Fakaya recently in February on the cruise that went to the Caribbean, we had all these dog tags out with different colors. So red meant that you were off limits for the trip. Green was like full steam ahead. I'm ready to go, ready to mingle. And yellow was I'm going to figure it out over the vacation. Well, some couples didn't have this talk that this article suggests you should have before your vacation, and they were getting into a bickering little snit even
Oh.
before they got on
not
the
that.
cruise. And
Girl.
so I love this article, and I think it's so important because they really give tips on how to approach it. So before you enter that runway on that cruise or whatever vacation it is, don't wait until the last minute to have that conversation. Have it ahead of schedule. Here's some of the tips, then we'll discuss. One, check yourself before you wreck your relationship. So, in other words, see where you stand on any spectrum with that before you approach your partner. The number two, pick your moment. Don't do it while you're watching your favorite Netflix show. Make an appropriate time to actually talk about this. Maybe a dinner where you can actually have your partner's full attention. Use us
It-
language, not me language. I guess we could like start with some of these three. Check yourself, pick your moment, and use us language. Cody, how do you weigh in on some of these? And if you were to approach a vacation with your partner to have it open,
No, that's not gonna happen
that
with
would
me.
never happen. But if you were,
No, yeah. Well, my advice to other couples are yes, then completely do all of these things. It's best to have the What? It's not. I'm just not built that way, unfortunately. But yeah, have the
You were born
conversation.
this way, Cody.
Exactly. Hello, Lady Gaga called it a long time ago. She wrote that song for me and how I am a monogamous creature. Um, uh, but yeah, have the Don't wait to have the conversation until you get to the actual place. That is just ridiculous to me because the main thing in a relationship is communication. So I think that having the conversation and bringing it up as in a non-combative way is the best way to go about it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely not for you. But Teddy, I'm not sure if
Uh-huh.
would it be for you at all. And what do you think about check yourself, pick your moment, and use us versus me language?
Well, I think that it depends on what type of relationship you're in. It just seems that these people are already monogamous and then wanting to change the rules because they're on vacation. And I'm like, the rules don't change when geography change, right? So this is not
But wait, Teddy.
a geo thing. Uh-huh.
But for some couples, it may like that's not something that
Yeah,
we can
and
call.
I would push back on that too, in that the reality is many couples are so busy and schedules are so different that really to even pick those, I mean, all open relationships are not the same. I will
Yeah.
preface it with
Well,
that.
let me clarify my point then, because
Okay.
my point is, if you are in an open relationship, then that relationship already should have what the guidelines are for them to interact with other people. So I don't see why you need to have another conversation when you're on vacation.
So it's
Same
just
thing with the monogamous, unless the rules are, once we're, I don't know, 10 miles from the home, all bets are off. But then if you
Right.
both are in the same situation, then where is home, right? That's the conversation I think they should be having, but not resetting the whole relationship. That's about how this article sounds like.
I
Yeah,
think that's what it is. Honestly, I
I
think that they are closed at the moment, and then they want to explore other avenues when they go on vacation. That's
Which is like the
what I'm
worst
getting.
timing to be doing that, I think. It's just like, aren't you too
Not if you
busy?
follow these rules.
Well,
well,
you're too busy planning the cruise and then you're also doing a rule setting. This sounds
well,
very convoluted.
here's where I think the article is coming from. It's approaching those gaycations, if you will. So there was another article that we were going to or talk about the other day. I don't think we got to it, but it basically was the top cities for how to be gay and slutty for a gaycation. I'm sure
Uh-huh.
Puerto Vallarta was high on the list. I can't imagine it wouldn't be. Mykonos as well, but I'm just
I'm also
guessing.
looking for jobs in Puerto Vallarta, by the way.
Of course,
Are
we love
you?
Puerto Vallarta. One of
Oh,
my
you
favorites,
and me.
obviously.
I
Tux.
am going to be seeing you all the time, I
We could
think.
do a whole show on Puerto Vallarta if we really wanted to. There's so much to talk about. But
Please.
what I think they're talking about those types of trips, and I feel like this particular article is leaning towards playing together. And oftentimes couples are busy when they're home and don't have a lot of time. And I think that inhibitions are down, and are we going to find a third or a fourth or
Hmm.
fifth to play with? And perhaps that. Let me read a few more and let's
Sure.
discuss. Number 4, have some examples ready. Okay, so this goes into what we're talking about. Do you want to play together, groups, or are we going to, for example, on many of the Vakaya cruises that I go on, and by the way, you can go to our website, tagspodcast.com, and click on the Vakaya banner and see all the upcoming trips. I'm hoping to be on a few myself in the future, but there is the RLD, the red light district, on most of the Vakaya cruises and trips that you can plan. And often you might not want to go with your partner. You might want to, hey, I'm going to go to the bar or take in a show. All right, great. I'm going to go to the red light district. Or
Slide in the bottom.
maybe you want to approach meeting people together. So I think having some examples is good. Number 5, write your own rules together. That speaks for itself. We'll discuss in a second. Accept a no gracefully, and then embrace a yes with respect. So, and lastly, checking in. Okay. Cody, with some of these, have some examples, write your own rules together, accept no or yes gracefully and respectfully. How do you weigh in?
Yeah, I first of all, the whole I'm gonna go to the bar and have a drink. Oh, I'm gonna go slide in the bottom. That conversation is
Okay,
awkward,
maybe
and
maybe a bad example, but
I mean,
I'm going to
it's
go read
just
a book.
oh, I'm gonna go pound a twink. What? Okay, wait a minute.
You
No,
know,
sir.
everybody gets off a little differently.
Hey, you know what? Go
Maybe it's
read
a
a.
steamy romance
I was just about to
novel.
say, go read a novel with Fabio on the front. Okay,
Oh,
that sounds good to
God,
me.
anybody but him, please.
Danielle Steele. Go Danielle Steele it up, honey. I don't know what else
Okay,
to
you know
tell
there's
you.
some gay versions. We have our
Are
own.
there?
Yes, there are
Oh
some. It's
yeah.
a whole. Yeah, look, it's really awesome. Just like
Give
there's
me one.
comic books
Tell me
you
what
love.
it is. Oh, I
Yeah,
read
we should
those. I
do a
know
whole.
we got those.
Yeah, let's come up with a summer read soon. But and
Shoot.
all right, but go back to your
Oh
thoughts.
yes, so I have thoughts. Yes, I think all these rules are great. I think that the no and the yes thing. I think that that needs to be a hard, fast, standing rule, and people need to learn how to just say no, very straightforwardly and mean it, and just leave no at no. You don't even really need a lot of explanation. No is the answer I want to say right now, so that's what you get. And I think that your partner should be able to take that, especially when it comes to something like this that could possibly have like feelings involved with it wrapped up. So I really like that one.
Mhm.
I agree with you. It's okay to ask, but then respect and yeah, you can always ask and try and evolve the relationship as you see it, but don't expect the answer is just going to be a rising yes. How do you weigh in some of these, Teddy, with the no yes, but then
Mhm.
also have some examples and use us or yeah examples and
Yeah,
write
I
your rules together. Sorry.
definitely writing the rules together, and I feel like they should be really done way before the trip, and also set expectations because let's say like a most traditional couple that one is like a strict top and one is a strict bottom. What are the expectations of, hey, probably the top is gonna have like a bunch of people that he can pick from, and the bottom is gonna have less people if they're in the US because
Is that a
we're
thing?
we're so bottom heavy. You guys have no idea. So
Wait, are we just talking about you, bottom heavy? Sorry, you can cut
I
that out
was
if you want
expecting when
to.
the job was gonna come in from you.
Okay. And it
Because
was going to be from Cody.
he's not happy if he
No,
doesn't do at least one. He's not
I
happy.
missed you.
I
I
miss you
missed you
too.
so much.
uh,
And yeah, just set expectations. And as long, my only recommendation additional to the article is, hey, don't go too far beyond from what you guys are already comfortable with. Like you can experiment a little bit, but not be like a 180 from what you usually do in your relationship, and you should be
Girl,
fine.
yeah, I agree with
I
that
like
last
that.
one. And one of the
Yeah.
last ones that I didn't mention, but I'll mention now, they say is checking in. You set these expectations, you write them down together, or you come up with them together, you decide what you're going to do, but check in with each other. How are we doing? And I'll just say personally, when my partner and I have played, we just did the other night, we decided we were going to, after a night out, we were celebrating our pride, and it was going to be like four of us or five of us
Oh,
actually. But some of them, as we
additional
got
to you too, 5 additional.
yeah. And
Wow,
we go up
nice.
No.
to this person's hotel room, and
Oh.
one of them, the one that I was really looking forward to play with, walks in and then says, "Okay, I'm out." I'm like, "What? You
Oh,
haven't been in yet?" I mean, he took one step in. It's like the hokey pokey, and I was like, "You're still in." And he said, "Oh, so," and he was like, kind of like, "Oh no, I'm okay." And I laughed. I was like, "Okay," and then we were having some fun, and then the host wasn't really up our alley. Like he was fine, but he just seemed a little erratic for our
I'm
taste. And
fine.
then the
He was
other
fine.
person finally walked out, and we were like, "Oh, he was kind of cool too." So then I looked over at my partner, and we gave out that signal we've given each other before, like, "Yeah, we're good," and we bowed out together. But we had that signal that we know when we look at each other, like, "Yeah, this isn't working anymore." And it was
Not
a
the
hard,
bat
fast no.
signal,
And we
honey.
just, yeah, I just think you have to have those cues and that kind of thing. And we've kind of learned that rhythm that works. But yes, 5.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well,
Good.
happy Pride Month to
Groups.
you both.
Well, as my friend once said, one of my best friends in LA once said, always do odd numbers. Even it doesn't work so well. Keep it odd. It's just
Why?
somehow the moving parts and everything works a little
Because
bit
everybody's
better.
not going to be coupled up, so that just
Yeah,
keep it
that's
Yes.
dynamic, I guess. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it keeps it more well. And if you're into design, one of the first rules of design when you're putting like three vases or vases
Uh-huh.
down, always in threes, pillows threes, which odd numbers.
What?
Yeah, that's just a rule. Don't do even. And in terms of sex, I think you're right. It keeps from coupling up, and also it keeps it more fluid. So where I might be over with these 3, one of them's more likely to make their way over some more. Hands are just moving a little bit more. It's just like a fabulous music video.
I'm such a bad gay. I like 2 pillows, your 4 throw pillows.
Oh no, honey.
I
I'm going to
know.
come over to LA and I'm going to change that up a little
Anytime,
bit.
anytime.
Yeah, I'll bring
You're
a few
welcome
throw
here.
pillows. Yeah.
Do not bring 5 people, though.
Okay, no, I won't. I promise.
Thank you.
What if what if you pre-approve them? I'll send you some pictures.
Oh, I love a swipe right and a swipe left. Anytime.
Hey, there you go. Love
There
it.
we go.
Let's stay on travel for a second because it is, or locally, because anywhere, everywhere, and beaches in between, gays reveal where they're most comfortable wearing Speedos. And I love this because I love wearing a good Speedo. I know when we get to Cody, it's only Speedos, but I was immediately struck with this piece just because I'll wear them. Like you mentioned Puerto Vallarta, Teddy, and
hmm
it's a hard yes on the gay beaches there for me. I often talk about the nude beaches, and I'll start with a Speedo and then take it off. I won't wear them in certain spots, though. If it's kind of just a general heterosexual crowd, I wear my trunks.
hmm
Here's what some people said, and then we'll discuss. I'll wear a Speedo pretty much anywhere one would wear a swimsuit. It doesn't matter if it's a gay beach or pool. They are much more comfortable in the water, dry fast as long, and I'm in decent shape. I'll keep wearing one. I hate the bulky, heavy feeling of wet swim shorts. As far as going into a supermarket or shop, I only do that in a Speedo if the shop is right on the beach. Yeah, I often put on I cover up. I'm a little prudish in some of these
Oh
ways,
my
believe
gosh,
it
you're
or not.
so
I am. And so
demure.
I know I'm like 5 people in one sense, and then I'm like demure in the
I know,
next.
right?
Here's what somebody said. On the beach at the pool, they are swimming costumes. Don't forget, Speedo is a brand name for an Australian swimming costume that created the design. You take your towel and change in and out of Speedos. Kids can wear Speedos anywhere, too. They are not just an adult product, says Dallas and Sydney, Australia. That's interesting. It's kind of Cody, the whole Kleenex versus tissue. Speedo
Yeah,
really did a good job years and
Yeah.
years ago
refrigerator.
branding it. My goodness.
Yeah, they did. It's great. And you're right. I will wear Speedo everywhere. But I did wear a very demure, I did buy a very demure bathing suit, some trunks, if you will, that
Okay.
hmm
that I was going to wear to, I was going to go to Tampa, but my flight got canceled. And yeah, we were going to go to a
Okay.
water park with kids all around. So I brought some swimming trunks.
Thank
Otherwise,
you.
if I don't think there's going to be kids around, I'm going to wear my Speedo each and every. That's the only thing. If there's
You'll
kids
be
around,
poking people's eyes out.
excuse me, say what? No,
Huh?
the kids don't. I don't want the kids to see that. I'm very
That's what I'm
family
saying.
friendly. But I'm not. Oh my gosh,
I don't
Teddy,
want
I
to
don't know.
see
I
that.
want to see that.
Oh, but did you hear that's
Well,
coming back?
I was
I don't
going to
mean
save it
to.
to the tail end, but with
Oh,
other TV
okay,
news.
okay,
But you know
sorry.
what? Since you brought it up, Valerie Cherish is coming back after all of these years for season 3 of The Comeback, and I couldn't be more excited. There's a really good video of her just in Valerie Cherish mode, making that announcement, and Jane, the producer, is in the back, which I love. I'm sad because Mickey, the makeup artist, passed away a
Oh,
few years back, so
oh
he won't
no.
be back. But the rest of the cast will be, and I am so excited. And what an amazing trajectory to years and years later to have season 2 come out after it was canceled, and years and later to have season 3. So I'm excited. I know you are, Cody. Are you,
I am.
Teddy?
I never watched this show. Is
Okay,
this
yeah.
what show is this?
The
What?
Comeback with Lisa Kudrow.
Oh, I watched the first season. I haven't watched the second season.
So it's so funny because I was talking to one of my friends in Cherry Grove at brunch on
Hmm.
Saturday, and it's one of those things you either are like Cody and myself, and people
Obsessed.
obsessed,
So
and
good.
or you're like my friend. He's like, yeah, I think I watched a few episodes. He's like, I didn't really get it. I didn't see what all the hype was, and I'm like, okay, you exactly fall under what I thought. You either love it or you're just kind of like, nope, not for me. But yeah, how do you weigh in though, Teddy, on the Speedos?
On the
Where do you
Speedo
wear?
thing?
Yeah.
So, trigger warning. I've never worn a Speedo.
What?
Okay.
Never owned one. I know.
You don't. So you've never
Uh-huh.
worn a Speedo and you've never seen the
No.
comeback. Are you even gay? Who are you? I
I
don't
don't
even
I
know who
don't
you.
know.
Are
I
you a gay
know.
cosplayer? What is going
First
on
of all,
here?
I have watched the comeback. I'm pretty sure I watched the first season.
I'm pretty
Pretty sure.
sure is
Gay
not enough for
card.
me.
A
Yeah.
long time ago. I'm talking about like years ago.
Yeah. But back to the Speedo, it's a
Back to the
hard
Speedo,
no.
I never worn one because when I grew up in the island, I would always go with my family, and so we would always be like trunks all the time. And then when I moved here to California, not to shock everybody again, but I don't really go to the beaches here because they're too cold for me because I'm from the Caribbean, so I'm used to the waters being super hot. So never worn a Speedo, so I guess I'm missing out. I need to do that. I don't know, maybe next Pride. I'll
I
send
was gonna say,
pictures.
when's your birthday?
Yeah.
I'll buy you your first Speedo.
It's in March, but you can send me one of yours.
Yeah. I
Out of
mean,
something to say, I don't think I want to go there right now. But can I just say I did buy a new Speedo for my birthday, and I can't wait for people to
Nice.
see it. It's so cute, and
I
it's not even
love
really.
it.
It's a swim thong, so just
So
get ready.
Oh,
so we can expand on
okay.
this topic. Can I ask what should I for my first Speedo be looking for? What should I? You know what I mean?
So here's what I would say: a nice, solid color is just
Mhm.
always good to have.
Mhm.
I mean, I love a good solid black. I just think it's so chic
I
and
do like a good solid black too, as
yeah,
well.
okay, yeah.
Oh
I just
my
think
god,
one that
not
is
a black.
just
Oh my god.
yeah, one that kind of covers
Oh
your
no.
booty nicely, that kind of curves it. And what I like to do is not all Speedos fit the same way. So
Hmm.
most places will allow you to try them on, but I get that who's going to shops anymore? You might just have to order a few and then return
Yeah.
a few, but
Yeah.
try them on in your, the comfort of your own home, have a little kiki party and look in the mirror, because what you want to do is kind of look to the side to see, is it showing my booty the way I want my booty? I think I
Hmm.
bought one on a cruise a few years ago. I do a lot of squats, and I was like, this is doing nothing for my booty. And then I tried on another one, and it really just emphasized it
Pump it up.
nicely. And
Hmm.
then on the other side, you want to feel like your junk is nicely
Secure.
placed and
Yeah.
secure. Yeah, those would be my. And always, when you put it on, do a deep knee bend to make sure that it gets into the crevices well.
What do you mean a knee bend? Like a squat?
Kind of
The
just a little
squat,
squat,
yeah.
because you want it to get settled right. I do that. I
Oh,
mean,
so
I
you don't
think,
get wedgies and things? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, or so that it just sets into your crevices nicely, and
Oh,
you're
okay.
ready to go.
You see, I would have not done any of these things.
Yeah. And do you have any recommendations for Teddy, Cody?
Well, I think that definitely go with something that accentuates your assets, and I mean that pun
Yeah.
in the
Pun
full
intended.
pun fashion. Exactly. I if because you're kind of unfamiliar with wearing a speedo, I would say maybe start with a sunga because they're a little bit like they
Is
cover a
that a
little bit more.
trademark
That's a
or a
good
cut?
sunga, right? From
Yeah,
Brazil.
is a
Oh, okay.
Brazilian speedo. So
They're kind
yeah,
of a squarish
there's
cut, but still
exactly.
fitted and nice and form fitting. And that's a great recommendation.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
So yeah, start small, ease into it, just like with so many other things. Ease
Ease on
into
Yeah.
it.
down that road.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I put a little link in our little chat there because there was something that I wanted to see how you. This is kind of controversial, and I wanted to see how you guys weighed in on it. I wasn't really sure how I did. It was, they're tuning this as a brave couple from South Africa, gay
Hmm.
couple that kissed in front of a government building. Well, that doesn't sound so weird, but the two gay men did it in Ghana. And if you know anything about Ghana, it's illegal. There's lawmakers have been trying to pass a law to increase penalties for queer people, to criminalize the act of even forming LGBTQ plus organizations. And they did it to show their love and support, and not just for themselves, but they did it to show solidarity. Um, they said, all we're here to do is hashtag show Ghana love. Never in our
Hmm.
lives did we think we'd find ourselves in Ghana doing something so simple and yet so defiant, they said. A few months ago, we came across an article about the Ghanaian government's attempt to pass an anti LGBTQ plus bill. This, like I said, would mean the incarceration of just being queer. So those found guilty of supporting someone who is gay would also face charges. That's where we're here to meet hate with love and stand in solidarity. Well, obviously, people that are in support of this bill in Ghana were outraged. So we don't even need to get into that. But a slew of queer people in Ghana thought that it was disrespectful. They thought they were flaunting it. And as like, look at us, but we get to go back to our rights and our freedoms in South Africa, and haha. They kind of felt it was somewhat of a slap in the face. Others didn't, but I'm curious, Teddy, how do you
Hmm.
weigh in on this?
I actually did something very similar to this in Puerto Rico. This is
Mm.
early 2000s before marriage equality passed, and we were at the Capitol. It was a kiss off that we did, and it was portrayed just as this is being portrayed as vulgar, as too much, and I celebrate it. I hope they're also safe. This is a very gorgeous, good-looking couple, but they're clearly in a place where their lives are not supported. So I just hope that if in this act of advocacy they don't find violence. But other than that, I celebrated and I've done things very similar to this. So
Well,
I
here's the
applaud them.
thing.
Hmm.
The thing for you that's a little bit different is that you did it where you're originally from, Puerto Rico.
Yes.
And these guys are actually from South Africa, where it is legal. They were visiting Ghana
Hmm.
and took that picture in front. So they're not from Ghana. And they did it in front of that building. I do I don't think it was the best idea because I think in your case, you're from there and I think you're making a protest against it. It makes sense. This seemed a little bit, sure. Okay, I agree with the person that said you get to go back to your freedom, and this is, I don't know that you standing in front where you get to go back really makes that much of a difference, and I think it wasn't, a little short-sighted in my mind. And
I can see that point. I also want to add that maybe they're the only people safe enough to do that, and
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to be allies to the gay people from Ghana. I don't know what the purpose was. I know that when we did it, it was purposeful about trying to get some hearings about marriage equality. So it was very intentional what we were doing. The only thing I see from this for the query article is just the post on Instagram. So I don't really,
yeah.
there's not much information to go on, but
Well,
I can see
I'm
that point too.
I'm curious, Cody, because they did say actually, quote, "That's why we're here, to meet hate with love and stand in solidarity with queer Ghanaians." Thought the Show Ghana Love campaign were confronting the erasure and criminalization of queer people by love bombing Ghana's iconic landmark of freedom, showing that until queer people are free, no one truly is. When you hear that was their reasoning, Cody, how do you weigh in?
I definitely can see like both sides, but I tend to side with the people that are saying that is what they originally intended by having this kiss in the Capitol. I think that they are trying to, like Teddy said, show that put themselves out there and use with their privilege because they are more privileged than the people in Ghana and putting themselves out there and in the line of fire so that they could be an example or what have you, or to show the Ghanaian government that this should not be illegal. I think that they're just trying to put themselves out there and do what they can because the repercussions for them would be much less, I feel like, than if a Ghanaian had done it. Because I was trying to look up the punishment for homosexuality in Ghana because it is criminalized. So, but I
Yeah,
didn't get
and
that
it
far
seems like
just
it's
yet.
going to get worse according to these new proposed laws that may go into effect. I like their reasoning. I'll give them that. I like that they are standing in support of queer people in Ghana. I love that. To me, I think they could do this from afar and use social media. I don't know that they needed to do it in Ghana in front of a government institution because it also, those pictures are really, they look beautiful, and it's very like la la la, look how fabulous we are. And I just think if I was a queer person in Ghana, I would look at this and be like, yeah, great, I'm not, this is doing nothing for me. So
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
that's how I would feel. And so while I respect and like their what they want to do, I just think it's they could do this from their own place.
I'm going to push back a little bit on that because maybe it's because they are living in such a constrained society that doesn't accept them that they are
Right,
acting
but
out
they
and
aren't. You
yeah.
realize that, right?
No,
They don't live in Ghana.
I'm talking about the Ghanaians. They are
Okay,
living
yeah.
in such in a constrained society that they have internalized a lot of this homophobia. So maybe they are they are saying these things out of kind of self hatred a little bit.
I guess I would just, if I saw that, I'd be like, yeah, I think I just want to move to South Africa then because I want to be like you guys. And it doesn't look like it's changing anytime soon. You guys posing in front of this government building with a looming bill that looks like it's going to pass to make things even more criminalized is not helping the cause in my mind. And I just say, yeah, can you guys buy me my ticket to Cape Town, which by the way, I love. And
Yeah.
I would highly recommend moving there. So,
Yeah, but also like people are talking about it now. So maybe it is doing a little
yeah,
something.
and then there's that. So we'll leave it at that. I'm curious, have you guys heard of Loud Looking? It's a whole Gen
Oh,
Z. Have you heard of it? TikTok's new
No.
buzzword, Loud Looking. Just before I tell you what it really is, have you heard of it?
well, I look at Teddy and he looks
Oh
loud to
my
me. So
god.
Okay.
Why did I think this was gonna be problematic?
Yeah, right? Okay,
Uh-huh.
let me tell you what it is. We'll discuss. What is loud looking? Loud looking refers to the kind of attention queer people may receive when they are watched or stared at in many ways that feel obvious, invasive, or disrespectful, as if they are on display or entertainment. It can reduce real lived identities to spectacle, turning authenticity into something to be consumed rather than respected. So basically, think raising the eyebrows, staring a little bit too long, where of perhaps disapproval, obviously not looking at somebody and as if they were fabulous and just taking it in, because we all know that people look. Psychologists in this article talk about how we are people watchers and we take it all in. I'm guilty of that for sure. But when it is coming from a place that may feel a little bit more judgy or put it on display, that's where Gen Z is calling it out. I don't know, Teddy. We were
Mhm.
out and about. I opened up the door and I had a pink headband on, a mesh. I was looking pretty. are you walking down the street? Are you performing later? And I didn't really care, but it was
And that
also
came from our
pride.
friend.
Yeah. What do you think of this term? And are we just being too sensitive, or is this a real thing?
Um, I'm trying to be careful. I don't like even the nomenclature of it all, the name of it, basically.
Okay.
Because
Loud looking, looking.
well,
Yeah.
because we've had minoritized communities to be referred as to loud people, right?
Hmm.
So that's why
Hmm.
I kind of when I heard it the first time, that's what the first thing that I thought about. But hey, if loud looks like you're living your own lives with no boundaries about who you are, I celebrate that. But I don't like the name of
Yeah, it's
it.
interesting, Cody, because we did a story a few months ago where a prominent drag queen here in New York was on the train. I forget which one it was, and there was a guy that was very homophobic and was starting to make slurs at her, and then but kept taunting her, if you remember, and was
Hmm.
sitting next to her, and there's a video to prove it. And that person, she ended up filming that guy. That obviously is more than just loud looking. It crosses the line
Yeah.
of homophobic attacking. And
Hmm.
she did the right thing filming it. One of the things that the psychologists say is it's a natural human behavior to just look. I mean, I love people watching. It's one of my favorite things. I was doing it all day yesterday. But some of the things that they mention is read the room. Is your glance longer than a second or two? Dial it back. Compliment, don't comment. And this one I really love because I was walking down the street on Saturday in front of my building in Chelsea, which is very gay, especially during Pride season. And there's these two guys, I've seen them before, I think on the cruise, and they have these glittery sailor hats and they're huge. And I was staring at them and they were looking, they said, nice bicep. And I said, love your hats. And and then the woman that was walking into my building with me, straight woman, said, it is Pride season official. And I said, yep, it is. But all of that I think was really good. When you hear some of these things loud looking, it's a trend, calling it out. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that it happens all the time. People look at me like I'm a zoo creature all the time. I don't know how else to put it, but I think that it's something that yes, it's human nature, but I think that people should learn to, like you said, dial it back or not have it be so offensive. Maybe learn to be more demure with it. Maybe learn to be a little bit more sensitive to other people's feelings because it's not a good feeling for to think that someone is looking at you like you're a freak, basically. So I think that yes, it's human nature, but also we should all, as human beings, be respectful and cognizant of how we make other people feel.
Yeah, I love that it's a term now. I mean, when I was younger and I would get the gumption in my early 20s to go out and wear something scantily clad, I was always a little bit I wasn't as confident perhaps then. I would also be a go-go dancer. I would be confident when I would get on the stage because I felt like I was meant to be there.
Hmm.
But the minute I got off, I was always a little bit more less confident. As I've gotten older, I don't really care what people think, and
Hmm.
we could call it loud looking. I love that it makes sense that Gen Z would have a term for this. They are younger. I think as you get older, you care a lot less of what people think, and if you're just going to own yourself a lot more. It comes with age, and you end up kind of walking out. Like when I was walking out, I'm like, hey, granted, it was Pride, but I am wearing this mesh top. I am wearing these crazy. I kept putting on stuff, Cody. Like I kept layering and layering, and it was like, okay, stop. But it was. I don't really care, and I just think it comes with age. But apparently it's a thing. Loud looking. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. I just some really good news. We have to talk about this. Breaking news. The Supreme Court ruled to save free access to PrEP and other
Woo.
preventative care. And this is really good because this was one of the things that many of us were wondering, are they going to take away? It was a
Hmm.
6-3 opinion, and it was written by Justice Brett Kavanaugh, concluding that the U.S. Preventative Service Task Force operates constitutionally and that the Secretary of Health and Human Services has the authority to appoint its members as inferior officers. Basically, they voted to keep it. So I think it's a really good thing. Cody, thank God, right? Especially,
Right?
yeah,
They're finally doing something right. Look at
yeah.
this. Come on now. And Kevin all wrote it. Okay, all right. They might be making a little bit more sense now. I think that the
You're
Orange
very
Man had.
helpful.
I mean, maybe they think he's jumping the shark a little bit too much. So he's gone a little bit too far, and maybe they're starting to rethink some of their decisions and where their loyalties lie. I'm very hopeful.
Yeah, or maybe they got the memo that it's saving lives, a lot of
Exactly.
lives, and preventing HIV from coming back and proliferating, and really medical, hospitals, and keeping health hospital visits at lower, and what it's really done for years and years. I don't know, Teddy. I think you said in a
Hmm.
past episode that you get yours or have been getting your prep from the center, the
Yeah,
iconic LGBTQ plus center in Los Angeles.
sure.
And how does this make you feel knowing that they're not going to take it away?
I'm still cautious about it because we're literally a flip of two people away from this being taken away. Remember, 6-3. It only takes two more judges to agree with it to be 5-4. So
But they
um,
didn't.
they didn't right now, right? I
Correct.
just
Yeah,
hope
they
this
you're
is
right.
not. We still have 3 more years of this regime, and I'm calling it a regime
Yeah,
intentionally.
right.
So we just have to be careful. I'm glad that prep is not going away. It will be devastating to our communities. They have been getting rid of some of the programs that still serve prep, so their battle is not done. It is just a small success and a very arduous fight that we still have to do.
Yeah, you're right. You bring up really good points on 3 more years, 3+ years. Also, we just celebrated 10 years of marriage equality
Hmm.
from, if who can believe, 2015 was the year Obama put
Yeah.
it into effect. I benefit from this, getting married later this year,
Yes,
super
he
excited.
is.
But there are court cases that could go to the Supreme Court to take these rights that we've had for 10 years. I mean, look at abortion. So it's not
Yeah.
that unsound. So
Mhm.
you are the measure of reason, Teddy, but it is a current success, and we got to take all the ones we have at the moment.
Sweet are the uses of success, said Shakespeare. He's pretty smart.
Yes, exactly. I want to thank you guys. This is so much fun. I just want to quickly mention, we mentioned the comeback coming back. There's some other great TV. The Devil Wears Prada 2 is filming and will be out
Yeah.
next year. So that's kind of exciting. Teddy, I know you watched it. I believe Noah's Ark, the movie, which everybody
Ooh,
should watch.
yes.
So good.
So good. I don't know that we gave a review of it, but I
We
just
should.
thought, yeah, I thought what a well written Patrick Ian
Yeah.
Polk wrote a very satisfying. If you followed these characters like many of us have, it was super satisfying. It progressed the story. He remained true to each of the four characters. There
Mhm.
was some surprises that we won't tell you, that
Big
I was
surprises.
big surprises that I was like, oh, and I just thought, well done, bravo. How do you weigh in, Teddy?
I love the movie. I think it actually the same. It progresses the story, and I hope it sets the stage for the series that they're hoping to do. I'm looking forward to more Noah's Ark content because I feel like they owe us like at least 2 or 3 more seasons. So
Oh, facts.
Yeah, well, it's
let's
on Paramount.
let's
It's
all
on
watch it on Paramount. Yeah.
Paramount Plus. You should watch it. It's a great summer flick to watch. They also, good news, put up the whole series. So
Yes.
if you're new, you don't know what we're talking about, you can binge all of those. There's another movie, Jumping the Broom, which is fun, and then this is the current film. Cody, thoughts on the new Noah's Ark?
Love, love, love. All those. It's like reconnecting with old friends. So it was just really
Yes,
wonderful.
that's a
And
great. That should be on the. They don't have DVD covers anymore, but that should be on there.
it should totally be the tagline. Hey, Patrick, call me. I have great taglines. I write great songs. So yes, Eddie.
Yes.
They should totally play your song in there.
Oh, by the
Yes,
way,
they
yes.
should.
And over the weekend, Cody Maurice dropped his brand new single, I Don't Want to Fight. We were playing it a
What?
lot. It is
Yeah, you didn't
out
hear?
wherever you
Mm-mm.
get your music. So good. Congratulations, Cody.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Eddie.
boo.
Yeah, it is out. So go ahead and make your way over there and download I Don't Want to Fight by Cody Maurice. And wow, what a show, guys.
What
I
a
love
show.
it. I love it. You can always follow my co-host on the gram. Follow Teddy at Teddy Alexis, Anything else you're promoting at the minute?
Girl, I'm on vacation. Don't talk to
Okay.
me until August.
Got it. Thank you for gracing us. We really
Of
missed
course.
you here. You can follow Cody, download that single, go to his Instagram and Blue Sky at the same handle at Mr. Maurice, Follow me on the gram. I am _Steve V. Go to our Patreon community where we are putting up all kinds of stuff for free, but grab an account and tier, and you can support us at patreon.com/tags podcast. And don't forget to rate and review us on wherever you listen to us. It really helps us out, people finding us. And in the meantime, continue having hot
Hot
gay
gay
sex.